Hello and welcome to Wingnuts RC. Please like and subscribe. I'm a newer channel, so if you subscribe, you'll get notifications anytime I post a video. Today we're going to be updating the ESC and the motor on this axial wraith 2.2. Right now I have a Hellion short course ESC in there, just something I had laying around, and it's not working the best. And right now I'm running a 550 Traxxas motor. Works pretty good, but I think with the ESC it's not doing its potential. So I went ahead and I ordered just off Amazon a cheapie, one of the new Rain ESCs. Claims to be a 480 amp. I don't know if that's accurate, but we'll see how it works. It was pretty cheap. And then I went ahead and ordered the Injora 540 45 turn, so we'll see if that helps this thing do some better crawling. That's kind of the direction I want to go with this build. It's kind of a bunch of parts I had laying around and threw it together the other week. Got some nice links up front, heavy duty. I got an Amazon 20 kg, nothing special, just on the budget. I put this Proline Jeep body on, did some trimming on that to get the maximum flex. And so yeah, we'll start tearing into this. I'm gonna go ahead and get the body off. The way I mounted it, just to keep it clean, put some washers and bolts up here, and then put some screws back here. So I'll get that off a while and then I'll be back. All right, so I went ahead and got the body off. I did that off camera just to save some time. Kind of boring. I'll try to save the boring stuff. But so now that I have that off, you can see a little more of it. So this is why it was in my parts bin. Somebody had cut the top off of it, top of the cage, I guess, to put another body on. So I actually hot glued it on. It's real strong. You know, I've bashed this thing without the body and it held up good. And it actually gave me a good opportunity to put this Jeep body on. I actually had to move this piece back a little bit, bend it, and then glue it in there. So that allowed the cowl to come back on the body right into there. But anyway, you can see a little bit more now. I have the axial Yeti fuel tank. It fit right in there where the battery tray used to be. And then in the front you can see I put the battery tray up there. I was actually able to use a couple existing holes and mount that pretty good. I had to tip it up a little bit to clear the transmission. It's an aftermarket Amazon transmission, so I'm not sure. The factory one might clear a little better with that battery swap, but I don't know. Then I got the axial, that's off my 10.3 Bronco, the receiver case. Fits pretty good up there. And then there you can see that Hellion ESC. I just have it zip tied in there. But it works pretty good like that, or it did. The ESC has been giving me some issues, like I said, so we're going to swap that out here. Go ahead and pull this interior out. This is one cool thing about the 2.2 Wraith, is they have a real cool interior setup. Now this one's missing the dash and everything. Someone had cut that off before I got it. But it's still cool, still works good. There you go, got that out. So there you can see, those are some super cool seats. You can actually order those. A lot of different vendors have them. And you can put them in, you know, pretty much any crawler you want. Nice interior. So now that that's out of the way, you can see what we're working with here. I got the Traxxas 550 motor in there currently. You know, they're awesome motors. Never had an issue with one. But I think the ESC, like I said, is the main problem here. But we're going to swap them both out and see if we can get some low speed crawling out of this. And you can see the transmission, drive shafts. So I'm going to go ahead and get that stuff torn out and then I'll be back. I was going to do this off camera, but I figured I might as well just do it on camera. That way, if you've never done it, you might see something that'll help you out. So the first thing we're going to do is We're gonna pop that drive shaft out of there. 1.5. Now these are Amazon drive shafts, some nice metal ones that I picked up. I think they were like 10 bucks or something like that for the pair of them. I'm using, this is actually an old vintage soap dish. I have the magnetic trays, but they're all full of other parts and nuts and bolts from other projects. I had this laying there, and this thing actually works really good. So there's the back drive shaft off. And you can actually pull this transmission without taking them off, but I figured just to make it a little easier, we'd pop them off. I'm gonna go ahead and pop the battery out while I'm at it, get a little more room here, a little more visual. All right, there's the front drive shaft off. And I'll go ahead and pop the motor leads off a while. You always want to be careful when you're taking these off that you don't pull the connector off the wire, otherwise you're going to be soldering. Got that off, and then flip her over. And we have 4 screws on the bottom here. Pop them out. Here you can see that drive shaft as well. I like running that style. They seem to hold up really well. I actually have the same exact ones in my other 2.2 Wraith, and I've been bashing that for quite a few months now. Never had an issue with it. They seem to hold up, and I think, like I said, they were like 10 bucks for the set. So you can't beat that price. Oops. Go ahead and get rid of that for a second. So what kind of projects is everyone working on? Comment down below. You know, I want to know what you're working on. Maybe I'll dig one of my other ones out if I have one and do some stuff to that if you need to know anything. And there she is. Alright, we'll set that off to the side for a moment. Now here's the transmission I picked up. It was actually super cheap on Amazon. Metal gears. I figured I'd give it a try. You know, sometimes you get a good one, sometimes you don't. The cool thing with this one is it has dual outputs on the rear. So one spins clockwise, the other one spins counterclockwise. Depending on what axles you have, what motor setup, you know, if you're running a reverse setup, whatever. You know, this is a cool one to do that, especially, you know, it was cheap. It was less than 20 bucks. And it's got some spider webbage going on there, so thought it was pretty cool. Figured I'd give it a try, and so far it's working awesome. So we'll go ahead and pop this bad boy open. I need to pick up one of those Traxxas bit sets. You know, I see a lot of guys using them and seem to work really good. Right now I'm kind of limited on what I have. I think I have a 2.0 that works for most of it, but these little ones Got to do by hand. Now, one thing I did have to modify with this in order to put the 550 Traxxas motor on this transmission was I had to put a little hole here for the shaft to come through, give it a little clearance. It's like just right at the limit. So a little heads up on that. If you do try to put that on there, you will have to modify it. And these are the gears it came with. You know, they're metal. They seem pretty good. And the internal gears are metal as well. The slipper clutch, I tightened that a lot from whenever it came. And I did notice that it was slipping the other day. I'm probably going to put that video along in with this one whenever I edit it. But that could just be from the ESC not having enough juice to the motor. It could have been lacking power, which, you know, couldn't get the tires spinning. So something had to give, you know, with all that torque here. It could have been just, you know, weak point slipping there. So maybe put a better clutch in there, or, you know, maybe with the ESC, we'll see. Might do a little better. We'll do some run videos after I get it in and find out. So go ahead and pop this motor off of here. Now, I've had this thing apart a few times, so I just tossed my hardware right in one container. I usually try to keep it separated. If you haven't done it a bunch, you should definitely do that. Otherwise, you're gonna take a lot longer putting it back together, trying to figure out what goes where. This is a 1.5 here. Pop this pinion gear off. And there, like I said, that's just a Traxxas 27 turn 550. That's out of a TRX4 Bronco on the 79s. Came extra whenever I got it. I got it on Marketplace for, I forget what I paid for that. It was shortly after they came out when you could still pick them up cheap used. I think I paid like 250 bucks, and it came with all the stock electronics, and then it had a bunch of goodies added on it. So I put all the stock stuff in some of my other crawlers. Actually, my other Wraith has the ESC out of that. And then the motor ended up in this one, but we'll put that in something. I actually might put that stuff back in the Traxxas because they work pretty good with stock electronics. You know, Traxxas did a good job setting them up to work good. So there you go. Now that's off, you can see just a copy of the stock axial, but with some improvements with that output shaft. So what we have going in here is going to be the Injora 540 motor. It's a 45 turn, so we should get lots of torque, lots of low speed crawling. I can't wait to test this out. And it's packaged fairly decent. It's got some styrofoam in there to keep it from breaking on its way from China. But hey, I can't complain. This thing, I'm pretty sure this was like less than 20 bucks, and I actually got a deal on this and the ESC. They actually owed me some money from some promotional stuff, so I got them for free. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to try them out and see. Injora stuff, I have a lot of that for the SCX 24s, and they work awesome, you know, for the price. Obviously, if you pay more, you get a Vanquish or something, it's going to be a lot better quality. But, you know, a lot of people are on a budget, especially, you know, I have 30, 40 RC cars. It's hard to keep up with all of them. So sometimes I gotta get some cheaper stuff and try out. So we'll go ahead and install this. Grab this here. Now, whenever you're mounting this up, you want to make sure your leads are facing the right direction. You know, there's 2 points that you can put that in there. So you want to make sure that that's lined up properly to what your chassis might require. On mine, it doesn't really matter, so I'm just going to get it to where the sticker's visible. Alright, and there you can see, hopefully, got the 2 holes lined up there. Now, I usually start stuff by hand, especially when you're dealing with Chinese stuff. Sometimes the machining's not the greatest, so if you go hogging it in there with your drill, you're gonna end up cross-threading it, stripping something, and you're gonna get real mad real quick. I've actually had quite a few things with the 1/24th scale stuff that I've had to machine myself with like a handheld tap and die. And, you know, it works out in the end, but that's one of the downfalls. You know, you pay $5 instead of $50, and sometimes you have to modify it or correct their errors. Actually, these are going in real nice machining. So I'm going to leave those a little bit loose so I can slide that motor. Now on this one, the way this one's set up, this gear is super close. Now, one other downfall I saw is the tolerance, again, with the Chinese stuff, not the greatest machining. So there is some slop in that, but especially being a slow crawl now, I think that that's going to be all right. But you have to flip that around, run it backwards to make up for that clearance difference. Now you want to line that up nice and even. Now what I do is I hold that in place with my one thumb. And I'll grab this set screw. I should have my glasses on for this, but I think we'll be all right. All right, now here, you're gonna wanna make sure that that flat spot's lined up, which it's not on the shaft. So I have to spin that. All right, and there we have it lined up. Make sure everything's good. Now here's gonna come a little redneck tech tip. I could not find my thread lock, any of them, so I must have left them on a project. So we grabbed some clear fingernail polish. You can use any color. I grabbed clear out of my girlfriend's stuff, so put a little bit of this on the thread here, you know, just very light coat. Just a little bit like that. Now I don't know if this is all right, so I went ahead and I tightened this, and the set screw there. So we're gonna go ahead and set the backlash. Now, I'm no expert on this, but this is how I've always done it. I just get it close. You don't want it too tight or it's gonna wear your bearings. So you wanna get it to where it's in there, but that it doesn't have any slop in it. That's pretty good there. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten that down by hand. Another thing to remember when you're dealing with cheaper stuff, now Injora is pretty good about it, but some of the cheaper stuff, when you're tightening the screws, it's not a good quality metal, so it's easy to strip out. So always remember that. Yeah, it's pretty good there. Now this one here, I did notice, I thought it was metal, but this is a pretty hard plastic. It should hold up all right, but it is nice to have one plastic gear in there so that something strips instead of just breaking stuff and having complete carnage. So, you know, I'm all right with that being plastic. All right, so that's pretty much done. We can go ahead and install this now. Now notice on the 540 motor, that shaft does not come out through here. So if you're running a 540, this case will be just fine without any modifications. Alright, so I went ahead and tightened these down, put this cover back on. Now be careful whenever you tighten these up, you can strip them very easily. It's cheap plastic. So I'm going to go ahead and put the drive shafts on before I put it in, just to make it a little bit easier. You want to make sure you get that hole there lined up. And then once again, a little bit of my redneck thread lock. Just a little dab. Now be careful when you're tightening this. It's easy to snap the bit end off. Snug that up. Alright, now on my particular setup, I have to use this one, which that one's connected. It's a straight through shaft. So as I spin this one, that one spins the same direction. Alright, now we're ready to throw that back in. I think while I have this out, I think I'm going to go ahead and do the ESC swap, just because there's a little bit more room. Alright, so we'll go ahead and pop this receiver box open. Pop that out of there. I like to zip tie all my wires to keep it nice and neat. So, gotta go ahead and nip all these out of the way. Now I have an extension on mine, but good thing to remember is 1 to turn, 2 to burn. Channel 1 is for the steering, and channel 2 is always for the throttle. Alright, now this is the one I was running. It's just a Hellion one that I had laying around. The metric Hellion waterproof 30 amp. It was one that I had in a slash that I picked up on a trade, and it worked good for a long time, but I don't know, it's not good enough for crawling, and lately it's been having an issue with turning on and binding and all that stuff, so we'll throw that in the parts bin. And this one here is the one we're going to try out. I picked this one up on Amazon. Like I said, it was cheap, probably about, I think it was like $15 or something, but I ended up getting it on a promo for free. But here it is. It's supposed to be waterproof. We'll find that out, I guess. Comes with a cooling fan, which is cool. And it says that it's a I don't know, it's claiming it's a 480 amp, but I'm going to say it's probably like a 60 or an 80. I don't know, we'll find out. It claims to be good for crawling. It does have a forward brake reverse and a forward brake setting with a toggle switch right there, so that's pretty cool. Top toggle switches for that. The bottom one is for lipo or nickel metal, so that's cool. You know, it's got the switches right there for it. So we'll make sure that's set up. I'm going to obviously be running reverse for a crawler, and we're going to set it for lipo. But yeah, so there's that. We're going to go ahead and get that in here. Now I'm going to try to mount this the same location, and I think it's going to work out to where it'll kind of look like a heater box down there in the kick panel. So that'll be kind of cool. And then it comes with an on-off switch. Some people solder them. I prefer to have them. It makes it a lot easier, especially with the kids running it. Then you don't have to take the body off. You can just hit the switch and turn it on. So we'll mount that up somewhere. Also in this, there is some paperwork. So, you know, that's kind of cool to get with them. That tells you how to go about wiring it up. Lots of info in there. Oh, this is kind of cool. So it has all the information about the peak currents, the voltage range, the 2S, 3S, 4S, and then the RPMs that it runs. So you can get all that information on their site, I'm pretty sure, or on Amazon. But yeah, so it comes with that. It comes with some zip ties and some double-sided tape for the ESC and the power switch. So we'll probably end up using them. So I'm going to go ahead and get this fastened in here, go grab some zip ties, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I went ahead and installed everything. Zip tied it all into place. Turn that so you can see. So I have the ESC tucked in there pretty good, and I have the switch mounted up right next to it. And that'll work out pretty good because I have my windows cut out on the body, so I'll be able to reach right through and turn it on and off. And then I ended up waterproofing the ESC housing, or the receiver housing, with some hot glue. So that'll keep most of the water out of it. So now we're going to go ahead and power it up, and hopefully everything works okay. Might have to switch the wires around for the motor. Okay, radio's on. And I'm not done with this. I'm going to put some lights in here. Eventually I'm going to order some of them once I get some extra cash. But yeah, pop them over. And again, that's just a simple hex screw and a washer. Now I usually do these by hand. Sometimes I use the cordless, but I don't want to strip them out, being that that's part of the chassis. But just snug them up. And then on the back side, I just have these little screws that go into the frame right here. And I put a hole in the body. So you can see that right there is the hole. And I normally leave these in and just take the front ones out whenever I have to swap a battery out. Makes it a little easier. And I could have put like the normal clips on it with some body posts, but I like the clean aspect of like how I did it this way. Going for those scale points. Alright, so there it is. And like I said, I have the windows cut out, so you can literally reach right through there and turn the ESC on and off right through the window. Alright, so that's it. We're going to get some more running video of testing it out. Hopefully outside. It's storming pretty bad right now, but hopefully within probably tomorrow I'll get some outside running video and add up. But for now I'll do something inside and get this video uploaded for you guys. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment down below. I'm definitely open to any input, suggestions, what you want to see. You know, just let me know. I'll make some videos for you. Thanks again for watching Wingnuts RC. Have a great day. So as far as the motor goes, I'm pretty happy with it. I would definitely buy one of those again, and I probably will. The ESC, I can use it in something down the road, and for now it'll stay in the Wraith, but I definitely plan on getting a Hobby Wing 1080. I think that's where it's at for the budget crawler ones. Tried to save some money on this one, figured I'd give it a try, but you know, you get what you pay for. Thanks for watching Wingnuts RC. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to comment below and get out there and enjoy those RCs.